This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
What's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster, man.
And this is the Viewers Anonymous podcast. Welcome, everybody. What's going on with you, bro?
Man, just fucking maintaining, man. You know what I'm saying? For the people, I've never really said what was necessarily going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But like this is kind of, I'm not a doctor or anything.
Right.
It's related, but it's not related, but I don't know for sure. You know what I mean? But I was speaking. I might have mentioned it once or twice on the pod. You know what I'm saying, that I haven't had my co-host on the Stolen Time with me. You know, for the last podcast he was able to do was February 24th. It was episode 202, and I never said what was really going on, but basically, you know what I'm saying, I'm just gonna share with the podcast world. You know what I'm saying, I lost my aunt, you know what I'm saying, to a heart attack this past Saturday, back on the 5th. So, you know, just been trying to get myself together, man, you know, mentally and shit, because like he was my mental scapegoat, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I put a post up about him, and I was just like, yo, like I lost my uncle, I lost my best friend, I lost my therapist, I lost my co-host. I was just like, because, you know, he was the guy that I could find everything with. But then not only that, like out of everybody in my life, dude, like he was the one dude that understood me, like through in and throughout, like, because I've always considered myself kind of like the black sheep of the family. Like he was the one person, you know what I'm saying, that really, really, really understood me, man. Right. So, you know, it's been tough, man. Like I had to run my dad's girlfriend up to the hospital to get my aunt's car the other day. And it was just like, dude, like, you know, I lived in Grid pretty much my whole life, and it was just like, yo, I know where the hospital is. I've been to the hospital 1,000 times. Dude, I couldn't even get my brain together to even get there. You know what I'm saying? Like I was so flustered and everything. But at the end of the day, Uncle Washington loved podcasting.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He loved it. He loved it with a passion. And I know it sounds cliche. But I know he wouldn't want it any other way but for me to keep podding. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as of this episode today, I got something lined up for later. But as of this one today, if Viewers Anonymous, man, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to dedicate this podcast, you know what I'm saying, to Uncle Washington. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace. I love my guy. I miss him already. But, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I've been going through, you know what I'm saying, for the past couple of days. But how you been, though, man?
Man, I've been on a roller coaster. I'm going through some personal issues right now, but you hit me up on Saturday, and you know what I'm saying, we talked for a little sparse minute, and then you gave me the news, man, and that it sat with me all day. You know what I'm saying? That's a tough one, bro. That's a real tough one. I don't, you know, so I never got a chance to meet him face to face, but the few times that I've had the opportunity to jump on the podcast and talk with him and you know, and you know, be a guest, it's always been a great moment for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell you all the time, and you know what I'm saying, I continue to let this be known, but I always told you that podcast was going to be dope because, you know what I'm saying, you had his wisdom, and then, you know what I'm saying, you had your wisdom as well. And there was a mix between the older generation and the younger generation. And I felt like that class that y'all had. Well, it wasn't necessarily a class, but I'm gonna just use that for lack of a better term. But that class that y'all had was so dope because the conversations, you know what I'm saying, were endless. They could have went anywhere and they could have, you know, they could have led to anything. But the fact that I had the opportunity to talk to him, and the fact that, you know, we had the opportunity to, you know, go back and forth on some things, or, you know, saying even agree with some things, was it was an amazing experience for me. And one thing that always stuck with me was the first time I did the pod when it was all three of us. And I think I remember I was sitting at the laundromat because my washer and dryer had just went out. So I was sitting at the laundromat and I was on the phone, and my family that's in there sitting down or whatever. I'm in the car and I'm doing I'm doing the guest spot on the phone or whatever. We going back and forth. And then when we was done, he said, man, you know what I'm saying? He told me that he was happy to meet me. And you know what I'm saying? He said that he was looking forward to talking with me again. And then at the end of the pod, after I had went back and re-listened to it, he just talked about how intelligent I was. And then that brightened up my day, because it's always dope to hear, you know what I'm saying, somebody, you know what I'm saying, that's your OG, be able to talk to you and give you that kind of praise. And that's one of the things for me personally that I love the most, is the, you know what I'm saying, hear older Black men be proud to, you know, talk to me and have conversations with me, because, you know, it just let me know that I'm doing something right, in order for them to, you know what I'm saying, appreciate, you know, the verbiage we cast back and forth. So yeah, man, for me as well, this is definitely dedicated to Uncle Washington. Rest easy, rest well, you know, and can't wait to see him again, man.
Yeah, man, it was tough loss, man. And
Yeah.
but like I was telling you earlier, man, like, you know, his voice is gonna live forever, man, because we was able to get a lot of podcasts in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't do all of them, but I know he had to do at least like 180 episodes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's great to be able to have his voice, to go back and listen to it, and have his wisdom, not just for me, but for the world, man. And I noticed that I went on, and, you know, I try not to look as much, but, you know, went and looked, and, you know, the numbers are going up, man, and it's a lot of older episodes.
That's
so
dope.
I think that it's just the fact that people can always go back and, you know, hear him, and the wisdom that he gave, the stories that he told. He always had like great
dope
stories.
Dope, especially when he went to the Tales from New York.
Man, yeah,
that
those
was
segments,
good
man.
stuff. That was good stuff. Yeah.
So it's that's the one silver lining. It's just the fact that I can always go back and listen to those old episodes, and, you know, like, I know that I don't know how much he listens, but I know his son Douglas, he, you know, he follows my well, he's on the Viewers Anonymous group too.
Okay.
But, you know, he follows, and, you know, he would listen and things like that. So I actually got to do a eulogy, so I'm just getting thoughts prepared of what I want to say, and just how long I want to do, how much comedic I want to make it, because he was just one of those guys. Like, Washington, he loved to have fun, but at the same time, like, he was he Unc was wild though.
Yeah, man.
He was a wild boy.
Hey, listen, that was my guy, man. Definitely one of my favorite podcasters of all time. And my favorite rant that he would go on is when he get to talking about the church. Anytime he got to talk about the church, bro, I was ready. I'm like, yeah, talk that shit, bro. Because he was, you know what I'm saying? We shared a lot of the same sentiments when it came to the church. So it was good to hear somebody of a, you know what I'm saying, of a higher caliber talk, and, you know, have that knowledge and experience that he had. So Yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna miss him.
Yeah, man, me too, man. And it's it was definitely obviously it was more than a podcast relationship, but
Yeah,
like you know, just I mean, we spent a lot of time together. Like out of really anybody in my family, he's the person that I spent the most time with.
right,
You know what I'm saying? These
right.
past not just 4 years of podcasting, like even before then, I used to go to his house every Saturday and we would talk
Hmm.
for like 3-4 hours. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
you
And
said that's how
then
y'all started it, though, right?
yeah, because it was
Yeah.
just like because it all started like I went to a family reunion because he was already with my aunt for a couple of years,
Hmm.
but I was at a family reunion and just when nobody around that much, I was like, man, let me go holler at Uncle Washington. I go over there
Hmm.
and get to talking. I'm like, damn, that's my fucking cool as fuck, man. like, man, I just been missing out on these conversations for years, and it was just
Yeah,
like, and it was like from that day, it was every Saturday, dude. I went over
yeah.
there and we would just chop it up, and then I did the first episode solo, and my homeboy Mark was like, yo, you need a co-host. And
Hmm.
I was like, shit, man. I was like, man, I don't know nobody that want to do this shit. And so I called Unc up and explained to him because he didn't know what a podcast was. So I just told
Hmm.
him it's basically like a radio show. I was like, we just recording, a conversation basically. And so we did the second episode, man, NBA special.
Yeah.
And he was just like, man, yo, we can do this every day. And I was like, oh, man. I said, we can't do it every day, but you know what I'm saying? But we could do it. I said, but we could do it once a week. He was like, yeah,
Yeah,
let's do that. And that's when it started, man, from episode 2.
yeah, man.
Unc was the co-host and he rocked with me ever since. And it was just like we would say it on the podcast, like everything that we did and the conversations that we had on the podcast was the same
Hmm.
shit that we would talk about when we wasn't recording. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It was the same shit. It would have been things that we would have talked about anyway.
yeah,
So yeah, man, I'm gonna dedicate this to him, man, and
for sure.
you know what I'm saying? I love him. Wish he was still here. And that was the one thing, like my aunt was saying, and then we'll move on. Like my aunt was like, she was like, and this was even when he was still alive, she was just like,
Hmm.
because he would be like, Sean, I'm trying to get better. He was like, because I'm trying to get back on the podcast. I'm trying not to let you
Yeah.
down. I'm like, man, you're not letting me down, man. I was like, don't
Yeah,
worry about it, man. I was like, just get your health together. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, because he was all he would think about was that he was letting me down because he wasn't
Hmm.
able to record. And it's like, dude, like this podcast is irrelevant when it comes to your health. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So he dealt with a lot, man, since February, and he's not suffering anymore,
right.
and but I let him know. I was like, yo, like you're not letting me down. Like the podcast is fine. So
Hmm.
you know I hate that he wasn't able to make it back. I mean, you never know when something like this is going to happen
Right.
because it's like I went back and I listened to the last episode. It was called Free Agent. That was when that
Hmm.
Cam Newton shit went down. When Cam Newton
Yeah,
had got into the argument with the kid.
yeah, with the little boy. Yeah,
Yeah. So like that was the last episode that we was able to do. But that's how life go.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, trust me, he was everybody's favorite, man. Trust
Oh,
and
I
believe
know.
that. If y'all don't know, y'all better go back and listen to them episodes when people was
Oh.
talking about, you know what I'm saying? Even Jamar said it on the one episode
Yeah.
we did last time.
Everybody would let me
Yeah,
know, like, yo,
yeah,
Uncle
man.
Washington is that guy, man.
Yeah. Like,
And I
son,
was
you
like,
cool, but
and that's the thing. And dude,
yeah,
that's why I always say, like, yo, I never had a huge ego. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Because like when we did this podcast shit, it was like, yo, like y'all are hearing the knowledge for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but it's like
right.
I get this shit all day, every day.
Yeah,
And
and that was
so
the
it's
dope part about it.
yeah, so I was like, I didn't mind sharing that spotlight. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to this, like you would be like, yo, I'm a co-host. I'm like, well shit, I'm a co-host too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the fucking leader of this ship. It's just like, yo, like we in
Nah,
this shit
this a
together, we're a
duo, man.
partnership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a definite duo.
Yeah, and then I wanted it to be like that with him, but it was kind of hard for me not to
Yeah.
call him a co-host because it was like I kind of started it by myself, but then like I would do solo episodes and shit, so it was kind of like I guess I am the host, but you know what I'm saying. But he's the guy. He's the
Oh
guy.
yeah. Oh yeah, man.
But yeah, man,
Definitely.
rest easy for him, man. But we got a you know what I'm saying, we got a little different kind of film for the people today, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 2007 film. When I went back and watched this shit, it's just like this shit crazy as fuck. But man, we got something special for y'all, man. We got the 2007 film, man, No Country for Old Men.
Mm-hmm.
And the wild thing about this film, I mean, look, it won 4 Oscars. You know what I'm saying?
As it should.
Yeah, as it should. I think it would deserve. But you know, this film, man, you know what I'm saying, got one of the greats in Tommy Lee Jones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Josh Brolin, Woody Harrelson. How you say my name? The dude name is it I don't want to mispronounce it. I don't know if it's Javar. Is it Javier?
Yeah, it's Javier. I think it's Bardem. I know his first name is Javier, but
so it's
I think his last
Javier.
name
Okay.
is Bardem.
Yeah, man. And look, he got best supporting actor.
Listen. You talking about? I don't even know if he should have got supporting for that one. Like the movie was really him.
Well, I mean, nah, come on, man. The Josh Brolin was.
No, he was. I'm just saying, like his acting as the hitman, bro. Like that shit was primo. Like when he hit dude in the forehead with that fucking
air gun or whatever the fuck.
The air pressure, man. Come on, bro. That shit was sick.
It's definitely.
How do you know how to kill a nigga like that?
Hey, man, the same way you do the cattle, man. The same way.
Man, that motherfucker was cold, man. My question is this though: what would you do if you just came across a bag of $2 million, bro?
Well, I mean, okay, hold on. Before I answer that question,
okay.
So basically, small town in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Terrell, Texas. This dude Llewellyn. He was basically just out hunting, hit a deer, hit it in the wrong spot, so he had to follow the blood trail, and then he ended up stumbling across a bad drug deal. Everything dead, dogs, everything, and he was pretty smart, but he basically used like his military tactics because he was able to see the drug deal, see the drugs, but money's missing. So he was able to track down the dude to get the money, comes up on the dude with the money, like you said, find $2 million. So this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, found some guns around the way, and this is what fucked him up. And I know this is synopsis, but you got to mention this in there.
Yeah.
So this motherfucker, when he was looking around, like the bad drug deal going bad, he opened up one door to a truck, and the dude asked for some agua. He's like, I ain't got no agua. So anyway, this motherfucker goes home, which I'm gonna get more into this one thing because I gotta say it because it's the funniest thing ever. So he goes home, laying in the bed. He can't stop thinking about dude. He was like, yo. He gets up, start getting some water. Wife asks him where he going. He was like about to do something stupid. And goddamn it, if it wasn't stupid, this motherfucker goes back to the bad drug deal, and now these motherfuckers find his ass, and now he has to fucking run away from them. And so basically, this whole movie is about the money tracking device in it. And so the hitman has the thing, and he just basically follow him around. And so basically, really, there's a whole bunch of other shit that happens, but basically, that's the whole movie. Is this dude? His whole mission is to get that bag of money.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's basically really the movie. There's some other shit in between, but that's basically the movie. Now, to answer your question, the first thing I'm doing, I think even before I saw this movie, the first thing I'm looking for is a fucking tracking device. That is the very first thing I'm looking for. Like, there's the thing about the drug world is nobody trusts nobody, and
Right.
everybody is looking to get over on the other person. So
Mm-hmm.
why not? If you're making a drug deal to that size, that truck, that whole pickup truck was
Yeah.
full of heroin or
Yeah.
cocaine or whatever it was. It was full that type of money. Like, come on, man. Anybody's gonna think, well, I could give these motherfuckers these, but I could do the drug deal,
Mm-hmm.
give them the money, take these drugs, follow these motherfuckers, kill them, and get my money right back. So it's like,
Yeah.
yo, because the thing is, if you're making a deal that big, like these motherfuckers don't care. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, why not go ahead and give them the money? They gonna be happy, thinking they good, and then you roll up on them in the hotel room, boom, boom, shoot them, then get the money back. Now you got all the drugs. You can sell the drugs, make the profit, and you still got your own 2 million. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking for a tracking device because you can't trust these people.
Right.
Can't trust.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. I'm not taking no drugs. I'm not taking no guns, but I'm going to unzip that bag and I'm taking as much money as possible. I'm not taking the whole thing, but I'm taking as much money as I can. And then I'm taking that shit and I'm burying it somewhere near my house. And I'm not coming outside for 2 months. That's what I'm doing.
But let's just hope that you didn't take the one that got to them.
You see,
Yo,
that's the type of shit I think about. So I'll be thinking like, well, if you take the bag, it got to be something in it, right? It might be a
yeah,
tracking device in it. But say if, like, you know what I'm saying? We know now in hindsight it's $2 million. Well, shit, say if, you know what I'm saying, you get the, I don't know, 500,000. Shit, 500,000, I'm good for it forever.
yeah. I mean, look, I'm the same way. I'm always more of like, I'll take a little bit and I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. But like, even with that little bit, like you still have to check and see. That's where Llewellyn fucked up at from the
Yeah,
jump
yeah,
because so okay, so let's get into it, right? So this
right.
motherfucker, so he leaves the scene. He took, let me see, he took the satchel. He took, I don't know, one Uzi, and he took a silver pistol, right? They took off dude.
Mm-hmm.
So this motherfucker goes home and he goes straight to up under his trailer and he puts the Uzi under there. So he walks in the house. His wife says, she says, "What's in the satchel?" He says, plain as day, no happiness,
Yeah,
no emotion, no
two
nothing.
million dollars.
Well, he didn't say, he didn't know how much it was. He
Right.
just said, he said, full of money. She was like, "Where you get that gun from?" Found it. And so she's like, "What the fuck?" Like, so he comes in, goes in, go get him a beer, and then so she's like, "Where you find the gun?" And he was like, he said some shit like, he said, "Look," he said, "You keep asking me all these questions, I'm gonna take you in the back and screw you."
That's hilarious.
Hey, but that shit had me fucking dying laughing about like, yo, these motherfuckers stupid. And so, like I said, he had ended up. Hey, it was just so funny.
Taking the
And
back
so,
is crazy.
and so then, so like I said, he got up
Mm-hmm.
and he started filling up the jug of water, and she was like, "Where you going?" He's like, "About to do something stupid," and he was like, "Yo, if I don't come back,
Gonna stay
uh,
with your mom.
yeah, it was some shit like that." No, he said no. What he said was, "Tell my mom that I love her,"
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then she said, "Your mom is dead," and then he sat there for a second. And he was like, "Well, I guess I'll be able to tell her myself then," and then walks out. Like, what the fuck? And so he goes there and he parks his car up on the hill. He goes down to get a dude some water. He see dude head been blown off.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, somebody done been here. He turns around and look, there's another truck up there with his truck, and they slashing his tires. So he hides behind the truck. And then when he took off running, these motherfuckers sharpshooters, but they start shooting at the ground from fucking 200 yards away. And so then they drive down there, and so they follows him, and then they was able to catch him in the shoulder, and then he falls down on this hill, and then he goes in the water. They let the damn pit bull loose. And then this is the thing about Llewellyn, and then that's when you like after some of the things you seen, you was like, well, maybe he was military. This is when you found out he was military, because he gets out the water, he takes the gun, you know what I'm saying? He takes the clip out, take the bullet out, starts waving it, blowing in it and shit. And then the dog is in the air, and he fucking put that clip back in, boom, shoot the dog while he's in the air. And so then this motherfucker, he goes home, and then he took his boots off when he ducked in the water, and his wife was like, Llewellyn, where's your shoes? And then he was like, he had to take them off for some shit. So he tells her to go to Odessa where his mom is, where her mom is. And she was like, she's just gonna ask me 1,000 questions. And then he was like, yeah, I know. and so then right, he sends her home, and then he tells her that he's gonna come and all this little shit. And his wife, like, listen, the accents in this movie is so fucking funny. But anyway, so we'll get back to Llewellyn now. So back to what you were saying. So my hitman, he was already in a stolen car. So he gets arrested. And this is when I knew this movie was different. Right at the beginning of the movie. This is when I knew it was different. So there's one cop, he's talking to like the sheriff or whatever. He was like, yeah, I brought this guy in. He had a stolen car, all this type shit. So he's in the background. He, does the move because they have a handcuff from the back. He does the move where he, goes on under his legs so his arms will be in the front. And as soon as the cop get off the phone, he chokes my man out with the handcuffs.
So it was cold, bro.
Cold, because then all this blood just starts spattering. And I was like, yo, all right, now I'm paying attention. I was like, yeah, it got real. It got real quick. And then the very next scene, my guy, this motherfucker's in a cop car. Pull somebody over. Tell my man to get out the car. Well, I know it's 1980. But if it's a dude driving a cop car, he got a regular outfit on. He carrying around this canister thing, and he tells you to get out of the car. Are you getting out the fucking car?
Like, I'm driving the fuck off.
I'm driving off. Like, dude, you do not look like a cop.
I'm driving up. First off, nigga, why do you have a air pump?
Yeah, like
why are you running around with this air pump? I don't need, my tires ain't flat, dog. I'm gone.
Exactly. So this dumb motherfucker gets out the car, and then he was like, just stand right here, and he puts it up to his forehead, and then, and I'm like, okay, you got me. I had to sit up in my seat the first time I saw it. I was like, okay, like I'm in, like I'm all in,
bro.
Now.
That is the coldest fucking move ever, bro. Like, think about that though. He was going around killing niggas with an air pressurizer, bro.
I don't know why motherfuckers don't do this now.
Well, I'm glad they don't.
Come think about it, dude. How they gonna solve this crime?
They can't. That's why he did it. That's why I said. That's why he said he's the coldest assassin I've ever seen. To even think about some shit like that, like to even have that train of thought, like, well, shit, if I kill him with an air pressurizer, then they'll never know what the fuck happened.
And this is the thing, like now, back then in the 80s, you had to have the whole, pump thing. Now they just got these
cartridges.
They're small, cartridges.
Yeah,
it's like.
And it wasn't no DNA. And it wasn't no DNA then either.
That's what I'm saying.
They couldn't even, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I'm like, dude, like that's just one of the smartest crimes ever. So then he steals the car. Okay, so now we got to get. Oh man, look, yo, the names these motherfuckers got in this movie is crazy. Tommy Lee Jones' name is Ed Tom Bell.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is that? So this motherfucker is with his dude Wendell, his other cop. So and what was wild was he had got the horse and he had to use one of his wife's horses.
Yeah.
And so when they got to the scene, he said, when they was he was like, look, you take this horse. He was like, my wife didn't want me to take it, so if something happens, she's gonna come to you. So he had the other cop ride that horse.
Yeah.
And so they go down and they checking out the scene and all this shit, and they seen that was Llewellyn's truck, so they knew to go to Llewellyn's house.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, I don't think he's no drug pusher. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is weird that his car is here, so they go to his house. But old dude now already been to his house.
He done already air pressurized the
Yeah.
goddamn lock, man. I told that's the coolest tool ever, bro.
Ever, dude. So when he went there, he went around and like, dude was smart. I ain't gonna lie, he was smart. He looked through their mail and found a phone bill.
Yeah.
See, there was phone calls going to Odessa, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So he looks around, see clothes missing. So he was like, all right, so these motherfuckers gone. But not only does he do that, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Hitman get thirsty too.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in the refrigerator, gets the milk. He's drinking the milk. And he leaves the milk sitting there. So probably, I don't know, had to be maybe only like 10 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Wendell and old Ed pull up and they see that the lock, you know what I'm saying, got a hole in it.
Yeah.
And so Wendell's like, he's like, look, you see this? He was like, yeah. He looks at him. He's like, are we going in? He's like, yeah. And then he pulls his gun out, right? Mm-hmm. He looks at him. He said, you gonna pull your gun out too? He says, I'm right behind you.
Hey man, Tommy Lee Jones is genius, bro. Like I think this is one of the things for me is that you got Tommy Lee Jones, right, who has this like quick-witted, you know what I'm saying, like sort of comical, whimsical, you know what I'm saying, character, like, but he usually plays these roles. Like you see him, especially like in Men in Black, like he plays these roles where he's like the straight man, but he'll give you like a little, you know what I mean, comedic hit here and there. And then you got like Josh Brolin, who for some odd, weird reason, he always plays like these oddball roles to where it's like, like whatever he's doing, like you could tell like he's just out of place in society. Like, that's the only way I can explain it. Like even when he was supposedly playing Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black, like he fit that character perfectly.
Yep.
Like when he was in Jonah Hex, like even in Jonah Hex, he was like an oddball in Jonah Hex. He was real awkward. He just seemed like so socially awkward. Like so when he's in these roles, it just seemed like it fit so perfect. Yeah,
man. That both of them, like you got to be grown to get it. Like if you get some kids, like my kids, like they be looking at me sometimes, I be laughing at shit, and they be like, "Yo, I don't get it." And I always tell them, like, y'all are kids, y'all don't understand. Like you don't get it. Like you just got to be older. So they walk in, so they don't even finish it. So then they go in, they looking around, and so Wendell looks and he sees the milk that my man left out. And he was like, "Oh, boss, it's still cold. We just missed him." This motherfucker and go to the kitchen, get a damn cup, pour some milk in the cup. So cops get thirsty too. So he's sitting there drinking some of the milk too. So I was like, yo, these motherfuckers is crazy. Like they're crazy as hell. And it's just like little shit like that, man. That shit be fucking hilarious to me. So then Llewellyn, like I said, he sent his wife to Odessa with his mom. So, you know, he goes, takes some money out the satchel. He goes, get some shit that he needs. And he leaves the money in the room, but he's smart enough to put it in the air vent, right? So he put it in the air vent and slide it over to the side. And so then he go get some things that he needs, and he goes back and he sees this truck that wasn't there earlier. So he's paranoid. So he's like, he tell the dude to drive around. Okay, oh, how can I miss this? Oh man. Okay, no, I'm right. So he tells him to drive him to a new hotel. So he goes to another hotel. All right. So this motherfucker goes back the next day. And so he goes to the clerk lady. And he's like, he says, I want to get another room. And she was like, well, you want to add something to your room? He's like, no, I want another room. So you want an additional room? And he was like, yeah. So he was like, dude, she got like a floor plan type of thing.
Yeah.
So she gives it to him. So he wants the room that's directly behind it, right?
Yeah.
So she's like, he said, let me get this room. She said, she said, that room got 2 double beds.
Say it again, though. Say it again. Say it again. You gotta do it with the accent again.
She said, that room got 2 double beds.
Oh my god,
man.
Bro,
hey, listen, bro.
Funny, bro.
Listen, I watched this shit again last night, dude.
Yeah.
Even with going through the shit with Aunt, dude, that shit had me dying laughing. Bro. I was like, man, that shit is too fucking.
That's hilarious.
That shit was hilarious. So then he's like trying, but during this time, you know what I'm saying, my man got my tracker. He finally started getting the hit.
Mm-hmm.
So he figure out which room it's in, and he goes to the office and he buys a room beside that room.
Yeah.
And so then this is what trips me out, is the fact of who were the people in the room. Because from my understanding, were there 2 trackers? Because how did they find it too? You know what I'm saying? Because he killed 3 people in that room.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they could have just been regular motherfuckers.
So why would she rent out that room?
Ain't no telling. You know what I'm saying? That's just one of them things that, you know what I'm saying, like it's probably added in for more dramatic effect. But
these motherfuckers had guns. They was loaded. Like they had Uzis and everything.
It's Texas.
It's Texas, but these motherfuckers, you can tell they was with some shit. Like these wasn't just regular dudes.
Well, I'm saying like even if that's the case, like even say they were with some shit, right? Like wouldn't he had known who they were?
But you got to remember, and this is the part I skipped over, when the hitman went back to the scene with these other 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
So they was like, yo, we got this tracker. So they gave him the tracker. He was like, have you got any hits yet? He was like, nah, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
So he shoots both of them.
Oh, yeah.
And takes the tracker.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know who this motherfucker works for. Like they never like tell us who he worked for, or if he's in it by himself, or if was it his money, was it his drugs? Like I don't.
I was just about to say he might be the guy that's behind all that shit.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like I don't know who the people were in the room, and I'm assuming the people that was in the room was some of the people that works for the people whoever was that got killed at that thing. So they're there, and so Josh Brolin is in the room behind. You know what I'm saying? And he goes, and that's another thing. It's just little shit that, like I said, I don't think everybody gonna find the shit funny. I thought the shit was funny, but like, so Josh Brolin, like, he knows, like, yo, I need to find some long pipes. So he goes into the store and he was like, yo, I need a tent. He was like, what kind of tent? He was like, I don't care, the tent with the most poles in it. He's like, well, you gotta tell me what kind of tent you want. So like, he's just like, man, just give me a fucking tent.
Give me a fucking tent with poles, motherfucker.
Yeah, and so he go get these poles, he go get another gun, he cut the barrel off that bitch, like he does all this other shit. So anyway, so he gets the money out, and so he goes to another hotel room. So this motherfucker is doing the same thing he was doing that night when he was laying in the bed and decided to go back to go get that dude water. He's just laying in the bed looking at the ceiling. And he was like, he just says to himself, something ain't right. So he gets up. Well, no, that ain't what he said. He was like, there's no way. So he gets up, starts looking at the money, start flipping through it. Boom. He sees one of them just got hundreds on the top and on the bottom. Flipped through it, and there's all ones in the middle. And he find the tracking device. But as soon as he find the tracking device, he sees 2 feet down at the door. And that motherfucker
starts shooting that goddamn air gun.
Yeah, shot the damn lock back in his head. Lock hit him in the chest.
Hey man, listen, that got. I want to know what the whole, because I know this is all based off of a book, right? So like this was originally a book, but I just want to know like what was the author thinking or what were the writers thinking? Because I don't even know if he was using the air gun in the book. I've never read it, but I know, you know what I'm saying, that's where it come from. I just want to know, like, what were they thinking making that the weapon of choice, though? Like, because just to, you know what I'm saying, like, just to have that concept of him carrying around that fucking tank everywhere. And then, like, when he get to use that motherfucker, that's like, I'm sure he happy than the motherfucker. He like, man, I've been carrying this goddamn tank around everywhere. I'm about to use this motherfucker on your ass. You done for. Like, whatever I do with this goddamn air gun, trust me, it's going to be precise and to the point because I got to lug this motherfucker around everywhere. And I'm coming to get this goddamn money.
Oh, for sure, man. And like I say, it got little scenes in it where some people will be like, yo, what was the point in this? But I think what they was trying to explain with the Hitman was the fact of his morals was so just, it was just weird. He was just an odd dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there was one scene, some people may say you didn't need it, but I think that it explained more about the character. Like there was one scene where he went to this store, and so he's talking to the guy, and he was like, "Yo, you know, this much for gas and this or that for whatever." So the store clerk is like, "Where you coming from?" He's like, "What's it matter to you?" He was just like, "You know, just trying to have small talk." So he's like. And then, like, I think I can't remember. He might have asked him about the weather or something, and so he kind of shot that question down. And so then he asked him about the store, and he was like, "It's my wife's." He said it's my father-in-law's store. So he was like, "So you married into it?" And he was just like, "Well, if you want to look at it that way." And then he's like, he says, "How much have you ever lost in a coin toss?" And he was like what? And so he's like, I don't know. He was like, what time? And then like he got this eerie feeling. So he's like, no, I'm about to close the store. He's like, what time do you close? He was like, well, I'm just gonna close right now. He said, what time do you close? He was like, oh, around dark. He was like, okay, so what time do you? He said, what time do you go to bed? he was like, I don't know, around 9:30. And you can see like it's awkward as fuck. Like it is very awkward. So then he's like, he flips a coin. He's like, call it. He's like, what am I calling for? He's like, just call it. He's like, now keep this in mind. Just call it part. Just, you know what I'm saying? We'll get to it when we get to the end of the pod. So he's like, just call it. And my man say something else. And like, he just keeps saying, just call it. And so he calls it, and he calls heads, and it's heads. So he was like, "It's your like keep the show lucky quarter." And he was about to put it in his pocket. He was like, "Don't put it in your pocket." He's like, "That's a special quarter." He was like, he said, if you put it in your pocket, it's just gonna get mixed in with the other ones, and it's gonna be just a quarter." And then he walks out. It's like, the fuck, like what was that? But at the same time, it lets you more in on his character because it's like,
that's what I was about to say. For me, I felt like that scene specifically was a way of doing like character development, like giving you you know what I'm saying, just the personality of who this guy really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because throughout the movie, like he don't do a lot of talking.
Mm-mm.
Like he about action through the whole movie. Like all you see is him lugging around this fucking tank and pumping people full of air. So you know what I'm saying, and shooting locks outdoors and shit. So like when you see him, is you know for a fact when he come on screen, either somebody is gonna take an L or some shit is about to be destroyed. So you know what I'm saying? I think that scene was a way for us to really see just how sinister this dude really was. Because, like, in that moment, and just like thinking back on watching that, like in that moment, you didn't know where that scene was going. Like, it got to the point to where, like, I think now in hindsight, it was more so like him just being an asshole. Since, like, dude was doing small talk, he just did it back to him. Like, oh, okay, so you want to do small talk? Let's do small talk. Yeah, so, like, I don't know, when you shut the store down. And then, you know what I'm saying, you seen how dude got uncomfortable. So he like, nigga, now you know how I feel. I just wanted some goddamn cash, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You go asking all these goddamn questions. Just give me what the fuck I need so I can leave. So, I mean, like, I felt him on that. And then, like, when he was doing the quarter thing, now that's the thing that threw me off. Because it was like, okay, what is so special about this quarter? Like, why is this? Is this going to be something that, you know what I'm saying? Do the quarter got a tracker in it? Do the quarter blow up or something on it? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what I'm thinking. And you know what I'm saying? Like, what maybe he gonna come back and kill this motherfucker for that quarter. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of thing that in that scene, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what that scene was for, though, was just, you know what I'm saying, giving you kind of a little bit of insight on who I don't even know how to pronounce the dude's name, but the hitman.
So 2 things, and then I'm gonna get back to it. Number 1, I know we don't do this.
Yeah.
But dude, when you said pumping motherfuckers full of air, it's like, is that a pause?
That could be that could definitely be a pause.
Okay,
I would not shoot that down. That could definitely be a pause. Because the pumping part. I'm just saying, man, that's what he was doing.
But then the second thing was, I think if that shit would have landed on Tails, he was out of here. Old man was out of here.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the best part about that scene, because like I said, that scene could have literally went anywhere. Like, we don't know what his mindset was. We just now actually getting to really see him, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a character, like you said, he talked to the 2 dudes at first, but that's like some 1 or 2 line type shit. Like, now we really get to see him in dialogue. We actually get to see him face to face and interacting with somebody. So we don't know what he's capable of. The whole time we seen him, he just offing people. That's a pause too. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? He being a hitman. So it's like, now you get a chance to really see him, you know what I'm saying, really be a legit character. So yeah.
True. So Josh Brolin, he finds the tracker, sees the 2 feet, you know what I'm saying? Thing comes through. And he just shoots, you know what I'm saying, a shell at the door. He goes to jump out the window, and dude, he jumps out the window. And I mean, listen, if it was a 10th of a second slower, his whole head would have been gone. So he run down. Well, he actually goes back through the building. And then my man, like, yo, just the way he thinks, man. Mm-hmm. He thinks going out the back door, dude was going to try to go out through the front. Then he starts shooting at him.
Right.
Why he go through the back door? He catches him. So then he just jumps in the car with this dude. And then that's another thing. Like, just little shit. When he got the satchel at the hotel room, when he shot the other 3 guys that was already in that room, he hitchhiked. So this black guy picked him up. Mm-hmm. And this is what I always thought was stupid. So the black guy looks at him and he's shaking his head. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you shouldn't be doing that. He was like, even somebody as young as you. And he's like, what are you talking about? He says, hitchhiking is dangerous. Mm-hmm. It's like, so why the fuck you pick him up? He could be dangerous to kill your ass and take your car. Like, what the fuck, man?
Bro, that's what I'm saying. This movie is so crazy, bro. It's so much wild shit in this movie, bro. You just and I think that's why this movie was so was as highly praised as it was, because there was like, it wasn't really confusion. It was just more so like it kept you on the edge of your seat. It kept you on your toes. Like you really had to, you know what I'm saying, like pay attention to the movie. It wasn't one of those movies where, you know what I'm saying, like if you watching it at home, you know, you can pick up your phone real quick, look up, you know what I'm saying, as they talking, so you ain't really got to watch it. Like this movie, you really had to watch and pay attention to, or this was one that could lose you later on down the line.
And that's a fact. So to fast forward back, he jumps in the truck with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, my hitman, they hit him in the shoulder, then one to the head. Wow, like damn! When he hit him in the neck, dude, it was blood going everywhere. So Llewellyn, he, you know what I'm saying, goes down, pushes the gas pedal, and he just pumping bullet after bullet after bullet into the windshield. So he wrecks the truck on purpose to get my man to come out there.
Yeah.
So my man comes out to the car, he sees the blood on the ground, and he noticed, well, Llewellyn still caught him in the leg.
Yeah.
Now, even though he was diving behind this car, he caught him in the leg. So he goes, and Llewellyn ends up going to Mexico. And on his way to Mexico, like I say, it's all these, dude. It's these little bitty shits where it's like, it's really attention to detail. Shout out to the Coen brothers, man, because it's just little shit. So Llewellyn is trying to get into Mexico because he's right at the border.
Yep.
So he's like leaking blood, and these three white dudes are walking, and he tells dude, I give you $200 for your coat. And so he was like, let me see the money. So Llewellyn pulls out the $200. It's fucking bloody as hell. And then my man says, well, let me hold the money. So he gives her the $200. And he's like, man, give me the jacket. So he gives her the jacket, right? So then my other man had a Corona. He was like, let me get that Corona. He said, how much you gonna pay me for it? That dude said, man, just give us the damn Corona, man. And so he goes into Mexico. He throws the bag over this, he throws the satchel over this fence. So he goes into Mexico. But you go back to the hitman, he done got shot.
Yeah. So
this motherfucker is sitting outside the pharmacy, man. And so he comes up with this idea he goes up to this car in the middle of the street. It's broad daylight. He goes up to this car, he gets the shirt, and he already had like a clothes hanger. So he gets he gets a piece of shirt, dips it in the gas, pulls it out. Then he puts this thing over the gas cap, and he lights the shirt on fire. So he goes into the pharmacy. Dude, he don't even blink when that damn car blew up. Goes in the back of the pharmacy, get all the shit that he needs to clean himself up, and stole all that shit. So this motherfucker gets a hotel room.
Time out. Because that, to me, I've stolen many a Snickers bars out of Walgreens, out of CVS, out of Rite Aids. I've never had to blow up a car to steal out of a fucking corner store / drugstore pharmacy, and like just go in there, take it, and walk out. He had to go behind the counter though. That's cool. Hey man, listen, you could have made some shit up. Hey man, it's a guy outside. He just got hit by a car. Can you get somebody to call 911? And you could have made some shit up. You ain't have to go blow somebody's goddamn car up. They insurance about to be out high now because you would have motherfucking steal some Johnson & Johnson first aid kits, man. He an asshole.
Well, we know he an asshole.
Yeah.
But then it also shows us another side of him. This motherfucker know all of the shit to clean the damn bullet out. Yeah. He gets in the tub. He got one of those big ass bottles of I don't know, peroxide. I
Was it
don't know what.
peroxide, wasn't it?
I don't know what the fuck that shit was. He put a hole in the top of it. He's cleaning it out. He's getting out. He got the tweezers. And he's sanitizing that shit. He gets all of this shit out. It's just like, yo, this motherfucker knows everything.
Yeah.
And so Llewellyn ends up being in the hospital, but that's when Carson shows up. Old Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
But it showed Woody Harrelson earlier in the film where he's talking to this guy, and this guy, like, he knows like what's going on, and Carson knows like, yo, this dude is not gonna stop until he get this money. Like, he's not stopping. So when Llewellyn wakes up, well, he was on the street at first, but then he ended up being these Mexican dudes took him to the hospital. And so he wakes up and Carson's there, and he's like, yo, like, you just need to give me this money. I'm telling you, because this dude is not gonna stop. He was like, what makes you think this dude ain't on his way to Odessa? He was like, why would he go to Odessa? He was like, because he knows your wife is there. He was like, he's going to kill your wife if you don't give him the money. So he gives him his card and was like, yo, call me if you need me. And so Carson, pretty smart too. He's walking, and he was like, I'm pretty sure he probably threw this money over this fence. And he sees the fucking satchel down at the bottom of at the thing. But like I say, another one of those small scenes where you might think it's nothing, but the writing is sensational. So he went to the store earlier and he bought some boots, some new cowboy boots. Okay, fast forward, he goes in there. Now he still got his fresh cowboy boots, but he got a fucking hospital gown. And so he goes up to the store guy. He's like, yo, because the dude asked him, he was like, yo, how those boots treat you? He was like, oh, they treat me well. He was like, now I need everything else. He was like, have you ever had somebody come in here with no clothes on? He was like, can't say I have. So he fucking sells it. He gets some new clothes. So he goes down, gets the bag, and he calls Carson up. But old dude is already in his room. Hitman is already in his room. So he kills his ass. And when the phone is ringing, answer the phone, and it's Llewellyn. And so he told him, you give me the money, I won't kill your wife.
Right.
Llewellyn wanna, you know what I'm saying? Want to play smart, all this type shit. So that was his opportunity to save his wife. Now you go back to what's my man name? Ed. You go back to Ed. Ed is still trying to solve all of this shit. Trying to figure out like what's going on. And so he gets the same idea to go to Odessa to go talk to his wife. So he goes to talk to his wife and was like, look, Llewellyn's in some shit. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna need some help to get out of it. Yeah. And she was like, well, I don't know where he is. I don't know what's going on because he didn't tell me. In which he didn't tell her, so she didn't know. Right. So he gives her his number. It was like, tell him to call me if he needs me. And so he finally calls his wife and told her to meet him at this hotel room. Well, thing is, and that's why I say somebody else, those other people that was involved with that shootout with a bad drug deal, they found this motherfucking ass. And they killed him and they got the money. And so Llewellyn's wife, well, actually, Ed shows up first because she called him and told him where Llewellyn was going to be. Yeah. And so he shows up. While he's getting ready to pull in, he heard gunshots, and then he see these dudes in the truck, you know what I'm saying, peeling out. And then he sees Llewellyn in there, and he's dead. So, like, you got the whole crime scene out there. They're all out there and shit. And so then he sees Llewellyn's wife pull up, and she knew right after the jump because he walked up to her, took off his hat. So she knew he was dead. So he left, and then something told him to go back. He goes back, and what does he see? He see the fucking doorknob the lock blown off again with the air thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he stood there and he thought about it. And I think what was going through his mind was, I think this motherfucker's still here. Should I go in and risk my life? Or should I just say, fuck it, and get in my car and peel out?
Right.
I thought he was going to peel out.
No.
Because he was already talking about like retirement. You could tell him and his wife had a great relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, nah, fuck it. So he goes in. Now, my man was still there, but he was actually in another room.
Yeah.
So he didn't kill him.
He was hiding though. That's the crazy part.
He was hiding.
With ease.
Yeah. With the silencer on the damn gun.
Man.
He had all the great guns. He had all the great weapons. Because his silencer, it sounded like oh man, it didn't sound like the regular silencer.
It should sound like a tube.
Yeah, it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
But that shit was hard. And so this motherfucker, you know, he sits down, he thinks about it. So then it goes to Llewellyn's wife, and she's at the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom, and that's another thing.
Yeah, her mom
Boom.
passed.
Another small scene. You think why you put it in there? But so her mom, this is when Llewellyn called her and told her what he was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
And so they is in the cab. Her what's his wife's name?
I think it's Gina. No, Carla.
Carla Jean.
Yeah.
So Carla Jean's in the car in the taxi cab with her mama.
Mm-hmm.
And so her mom is like, she said, we're going to El Paso, Texas. She said, you know how many people I know in El Paso? And then he was like, he looks at her and she holds up a zero. This many. Hey, that shit had me crying laughing, but I was like, yo, these motherfuckers are stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
So to go back to it, so her mom dies.
Mm-hmm.
And so she goes back to her mom's house and she gets something to drink, and then she thought she knew something was funny.
Yeah.
So she goes into a room and this motherfucker's just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, I need to sit down. And this is why I say, all right, I mentioned this earlier. So she sits down and she's like, I knew you were coming. She's like, I knew this wasn't over. And then she was like, you don't have to do this. And he was like, people always say that. And she was like, yeah, because you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
And so what does he do? Pulls out a quarter.
Oh.
Call it. She's like, no. And then he's like, the reason I have to do this is because your husband had the opportunity to save your life and he chose not to. And so then he asked her to call it, and she's like, no. And he had this confused look on his face. He's like, why these motherfuckers don't want to call nothing, man? Call it.
But see, that's like, I thought that this particular scene was dope because it kind of put him in a different situation. You know what I'm saying? Like the first one, the first situation, and you know what I'm saying, like you told the listeners, you know what I'm saying, make sure you guys remember when he was in the, you know what I'm saying, the gas station with the clerk at first. Because with the clerk, he was more so asking, you know what I'm saying, like, what am I calling it for? Mm-hmm. So when he was telling them to call it, he kind of had control over that conversation. He actually took control of the conversation. And he, you know what I'm saying, he was in a position of power in that moment. This one was different because, and this is why I think the quarter thing came into effect too, because in a weird metaphoric way, this is like two sides of the coin, right? Like in one moment, he's in control. In this particular moment, he's not in control. He actually loses the control to Carla Jean because she kind of tells him, like, you know, I'm not going to call it. I'm going to leave it up to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put my life in the hand, you know what I'm saying, in a chance moment. I'm gonna let you decide. Let your morals be, you know what I'm saying, the reason that, you know what I'm saying, you kill me or not. And I thought that scene was different because that had put him in such a difficult predicament.
True. Now I'm gonna ask you this question, even though I think you already know.
Mm-hmm.
You think he did it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? That's weird. I thought you were gonna
Nope.
go the other way.
And the reason I say that is because I think like I said, in that moment, he didn't have the control. And I feel like if they wrote it to where he did kill her, they might not have shown it, but I think they'd have did something like shown the outside of the house and then you heard the gunshot. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, you might have seen the flash or something like that, but or heard, you know what I'm saying? Like they would have gave some kind of indication that he actually did it. Because when he left, he ain't do nothing but just wipe off his shoes. And he just walked out.
Yeah, but that's what made me think that he did, because maybe blood got on his shoes.
Nah, I don't think so. Because you gotta remember though, he wasn't that type of dude. Like because everything he did was precise. Everything he did was calculated. So I think for him to wipe off his shoes and have blood on it, that would have kind of gave it away that he was there. Because remember, like when he left the glass on the table, I don't even think I think that his thought process was they would never think that I came in here and drunk milk. You know what I'm saying? Him doing that was, I think, to make it look like that they were drinking milk and then they just left. Because, you know what I'm saying, I already blew the lock off the door, so it's gonna look like an attack. Well, if I put the milk on there, it'll look like they were drinking milk during that time and then they just escaped. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the way I had kind of envisioned it.
Yeah, and then he comes across just bad luck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His light was green. His light was green. Car just ran the red light, T-boned his ass.
Yeah.
And his damn bone popped out of his arm. And like these teenage kids came up. He asked the kid for his shirt. And the kid was like, you know, he pulled out $100. And the kid was like, dude, I'll just give you my shirt. He was like, no, just take it and tell me you never saw me. And so like that was basically the end of him. But this is what the last scene always confused me. Well, second, he went to see, I believe the dude was his brother. And he had a conversation with this dude about, he was like, yo, why are you retiring? He was just like, you know, he was like, man, I'm just not cut out for it anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so they had that conversation. So like the very last scene is he at home talking to his wife, and his wife was like, you know, like, what's going on with you or whatever.
That was his uncle. That wasn't his brother. That was his uncle. That was his uncle, because he was talking about how that shit was getting too much for him. Yeah. Yeah.
And so he's talking to his wife, and he's like, he had these two dreams. And he was like, I can't really remember one of them. It was really short. He said something. And so then he goes to the second one.
It was some money or something, wasn't it? He had. Did he? Hold on.
I forget what it was.
Okay, yeah. So he lost some money in the first dream. That his dad gave him, and then in his second dream, it was him and his dad. They was riding or something on the mountain, and then his dad went ahead of him, and that was it.
Yeah, it was like he said that. Well, he said something about his dad was riding ahead of him, and he was like, it was something where it's like his dad is always there. He was like, he know, like in his mind that his dad, like when he said his dad went over the hill, and he was like, he was like, and I know my dad was gonna be there. So he was like, so I'm getting ready to go over, and then I wake up.
Yeah,
and that's the end of the movie. And it's like, the fuck, you know, like it leaves you with this feeling of like, I don't know. It's like he had like this incomplete dream.
Yeah,
and it's like, and they end the movie incomplete.
Well, not necessarily because like I think when they showed him, he was done with everything by this time. So I think that was him talking about that second dream and him talking about him talking about both dreams, the dream where he lost the money. I think that was him thinking about what I'm saying, the whole investigation and what he had to go through in that investigation. And then in that second dream, I think that was him like calling it quits. You know what I'm saying? Because like when he was talking to his uncle, he was explaining to him how, you know what I'm saying, like I said, it just felt like it was too much for him. Like there was nothing that, you know what I'm saying, he had left. So I think that in that second dream with his dad going over the hill and then him following and waking up, that was like, you know what I'm saying, leaving everything behind, going into, you know what I'm saying, the next part of his life.
True. That's a great synopsis. I like that. I like that. So, man, are we ready for the Flames?
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Yoga fire! Yoga flame! Yoga fire! Yoga flame!
Goddamn button wasn't working for a minute.
Double time.
Yeah. Goddamn. Let me see, man. I'm gonna say 4.5.
Oh, that's a
I'm gonna
big
say
number from you.
Only because this was a movie where you had you know what I'm saying, I always talk about the cast: Tommy Lee Jones, Josh Brolin, Woody Harrelson. Those three guys right there, amazing actors. Everybody else in the supporting cast, they did a great job as well. The writing was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know that it was adapted from a book, but just to be able to because I think making a movie from a book is not an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there's so much that you have to cut out in order to put it into, you know what I'm saying, so much of a time span, and then be able to still tell the complete story of it, and you know what I'm saying, still be able to get the gist of it all. So like I'm sure the book is way more in detail than what we've seen in the movie. And for them to give us as much as they could and did in 2 hours, it was, I mean, it was great. I think Josh Brolin did an amazing job. Javier Bardem, he really did an amazing job. Like I said, to me, I felt like the movie was more so about him than anybody else. I know that, you know what I'm saying, everything else was going on, but he really stole the show for me. So with everything that he did, you know what I'm saying, and then, you really don't know him from anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this was his defining role. And then, with everything, with all the awards and everything that it won, I think this was probably one of the first movies where they were winning big awards. And, you know what I'm saying, you actually seen the movie. You know what I'm saying? You actually liked the movie. This was one of the ones that they got right. So for me, man, I'm going to say 4.5.
Okay, ain't mad at it. The cast was really good. Tommy Lee Jones is a complete legend out here. Josh Brolin, man, that's the other dude where like we don't tend to mention him when we talk about the family tree. With his dad being an actor and he's being an actor and like we don't mention his name. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't be like, oh man, you a child actor. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he's just great at what he does, and like nobody never says he's the son of such and such.
Right.
But with this movie, I think that this type of movie I appreciate it more with age. I think the first time I saw it, if somebody asked me to give it a fire flame, I probably would have given it a 3.5. But like with me being older and being able to appreciate films, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 4, man. But it's definitely been a really, really good movie.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you was talking about Josh Brolin, man, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, like look at just the work he's done first and foremost, right? He was Thanos in the Avengers. He was also in the Sicario movies, which were two dope movies. He played Cable in the second Deadpool. He was in Hail Caesar, which was a highly touted movie with an ensemble of a cast. What else did he play in? He was in Sin City. He was in Men in Black. He was in Gangster Squad, True Grit. He was in Jonah Hex. You know what I'm saying? Dude was really like killing him. He played George W. Bush.
Don't forget about American Gangster, my guy.
Yeah, he was in American Gangster. He was in the
Planet
Grindhouse
Terror.
movie.
That's my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Planet Terror, man. That's my shit.
Yeah. He was in trying to see what else. He was in Hollow Man. I forgot about Hollow Man. He was in the Mod Squad. Like, dude has really been in. He was in Mimic.
Dude, he was
shit! I
in the
didn't know he
Blue
was
too.
in Mimic. Yeah, hey, listen. Mimic was that shit. Mimic was the shit. Have you ever seen Mimic? He was in the Goonies too. I forgot about the Goonies.
He was in the Goonies.
He was the oldest brother, I think, in the Goonies. But have you ever seen Mimic?
I don't think so. If I have, it's something that I don't remember.
Do y'all have a cicada problem?
A cicada problem? What's that?
You don't know what cicadas are? Okay, well maybe it's just up here in the Midwest. But right now we have these bugs, these huge ass, they look like big ass flies, but these big ass bugs called cicadas, and they come out like ever so many years from the ground or whatever. And these motherfuckers, when they come out, bro, they be everywhere. So like all on my Facebook timeline, all on my Twitter timeline, anybody that's from Dayton, Ohio right now is talking about cicadas. And that's the Mimic is what makes me think, well, cicadas make me think of the Mimic, because the Mimic is like this big ass bug that kill people and take over their body and shit.
Dude, you remember that one movie I told you about when we was talking about Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told you that he had this beef with this guy, and the guy had put him in the room with this girl, and then he had ended up having sex with the girl, and the girl ended up being his daughter.
Yeah.
Remember I told you that shit? He was in that movie. It's called Old Boy.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh Brolin was in that too.
Okay. Yeah, man, he been in some shit, man. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones, he speak for himself. I mean, Woody Harrelson, come on, bro. That speak for itself too. Woody Harrelson,
man, you know what? Hold on.
One
I'm
of them
sorry.
dudes too. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I got the shit backwards. My fault. I'm sorry. Samuel L. Jackson was the guy
that put him in the room, right?
Yeah, to put him in the room, and he had sex with his daughter. My bad. I got it backwards. You know whose daughter?
I knew what you were talking about.
And you know who played his daughter?
Who?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Wow. And they end up working in Avengers together. That's crazy.
Yeah, and you know something I didn't know? Dude, you learn something new every day. You know who the fucking director is on that shit? And I had no fucking idea. Spike Lee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had no idea Spike Lee was the director of that movie.
Spike got some different movies, man. He one of them dudes that if you see it, you'll be like, oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah, Josh Brolin, man, he's doing his damn thing, man.
Yeah, man. So coming soon, man. You know what I'm saying? Our next joint is it's an appreciation episode. You could say that she is she could fight for being the king of female actresses.
True. I got man, this would give it away, man. Because there was one movie, I give one line to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So this motherfucker said, yo, he said, because they was talking about God. Mm-hmm. And they said, yo, they was like, He said, man, he's like, if it wasn't no God, he said, why are there stars in the galaxies and shit? He was
Yeah.
like, and then this person says, how y'all know God was a man? God could be a woman. He was like, man, God can't be no bitch, because if God was a bitch, he was like, and then she was like, why every time you speak about a woman, you gotta call him a bitch? He said, because that's what y'all are.
Hey, listen, if you don't know what he talking about by now, then tune in. That if that didn't give it away, I don't know what did.
I know, right?
That was the one. But put it like this, man. You can always find her, you know what I'm saying, at 227. Just know that.
And you know what I'm saying? She fucked over Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
And then
just know that.
she also moved to the Boondocks. So yeah, man, tune in for this next episode. You know what I'm saying? That was I think we did all right on that one.
Oh yeah.
These last few been kind of hard to follow up, but yeah, that one was a good one, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? I'm excited to do this one because I had no idea that she, you know what I'm saying, was in it this long.
Oh yeah. She's been around for a long
She's been
time,
doing this
bro.
shit since she was 14, bro.
It's crazy.
That's
crazy.
Wow.
And viewers anonymous.
50 years old.
Look, and we about to give her flowers, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. I give her anything she wants. Just put it like that. I give her anything she wants. She can have anything I got. That's a woman. So yeah, y'all wait to the next episode, man. This shit gonna be all praise. But you know what I'm saying, as usual, thank you guys for tuning in and thank you guys for listening, man. We really appreciate it. The support that you guys have been showing us, man, is amazing. We listen, I know he don't check the numbers, but I do. I make sure I go check them every now and then, and it feels so good, man, because 1 minute it'd be like 12 people listening, you know what I'm saying, here and there, and then like it'd just be one day where it'd be like 50, 60 people done listen to it, or you know what I'm saying, y'all done played 50 to 60 times. So man, we really appreciate it. We still kind of navigating how the analytics work, so it's, you know what I'm saying, it's a weird dynamic that they have. But we're starting to see what some of the favorite episodes are. Outcry is still our top dog. Allen versus Pharaoh is actually slowly but surely catching up. And then, you know what I'm saying, I think the third episode is like OJ Made in America. So they love when we do documentaries. But they really been messing with us, man. They really been showing us the love. So you know what I'm saying? We really appreciate it, guys. But you guys can follow me on Twitter at Scoots Bronson. You can follow me on Instagram, Scoots Bronson _TV. You can also follow me on YouTube at Scoots Bronson TV. I don't know, man. We might have to talk about bringing the videos back.
Yeah, man, we might have to, but
yeah.
But yeah, look, man, y'all can follow me at @StopFoster8 on Instagram and Twitter, Stolen Time Pod on Facebook. No, Stolen Time Pod on Instagram. Stolen Time Podcast on Facebook. So I appreciate everybody supporting, man. And also, man, before I get out of here, man, shouts up again to Uncle Washington. Love that dude. And it was great.
Yeah, man. Like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.